All right.
Welcome to Meet Me for Coffee. I'm your host, Tanya D., holistic medium and subtle energy surgeon. Today, I have two of my favorite guests returning once again, Kathleen, McKenna, and Jonianne and Jeanette of the Spirit Collective. Thanks for joining me, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tanya D.
So, first off, can each of you kind of share how you started in the healing venue, in the healing world, real quick?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You want to go first, Kathleen?
Oh, I think probably, I don't know about others, but, it was a survival technique from my family of origin, right? That's what it was. Got to make peace around here, all this crazy chaos. Not happening. I like way too much in the light. So that's how I started as a child, and then just got stuck in it, I guess, in my adult life. And now we're through my association with all you beloved, beautiful, feminine energy women healers. We're just looking at it at higher and higher stations in life. But yeah, came into life with that assignment in my family, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with my own storyline. Was exactly that. And I just, the only thing I have to add is that, from my experience, I think the difficulty for me in this lifetime was toggling between both worlds so much and being open to unseen things and unseen energies, and not saying open, but like just in that intertwining, you can't help but believe that everybody else is having the same experience. And so when you speak to it and you get the, what do you call it? The resistance force, you're like, holy cow, what did I do wrong? Right. And so those internal, like you said, survival of the environment, coming into this environment through this huge heart. And then like, what's my journey? What am I supposed to be learning here? How am I supposed to love? Because that's really what it was all about, was love. So, and of course we could do 1,001 stories, but in the grand scheme of all of that, right? It's like, I'm in a place now where, yeah, I totally acknowledge the storyline, but more for me, I acknowledge the outcome and the service that those stories created within me today. Yeah. How about you, Tanya?
I'll get into that snippet later. So I want to know, I'm curious how you came up with the name Spirit Collective.
Okay.
I already knew you were going to ask that, Tanya D, so I was answering it this morning in my head. Just as Jonianne described as a child. So, like, when we become human, we come into this life and our senses, like, get us all hooked into the third dimension, planet Earth. And without guidance, like Jonianne was saying, as a child, you naturally already see all the subtle energy and you understand it. But as you go through the trials and tribulations of being human, especially in our culture, which is so materialistic here in the United States, we're just locked into the materiality. But you've got all these experiences that are not materially based, like the very subject matter of love. Like, show me a material presentation of love. No, you'll only show me relationships towards it. You'll show me symbols of it, but it's not the energy of love. And that's what we mean by subtle. So when people come to Spirit Collective, our purpose really is about reawakening in them what was already there. It's sort of like being a midwife, okay? The potentials there, we're birthing what you already grew, and it's a good thing. There may be pain involved. That's part of the third dimension as well. But guess what happens once you cross over the bridge and you're staring into the eyes of yet another manifestation of beloved creation? And that's what we are, spirits. We forget that because we took on a body. But Jonianne, I'll shut up and let you give your version of that.
Well, okay, and totally in alignment with that. And then to kind of give a little insight into the amazingness of each of our soul presentation of spirit, right? Our soul presentation of our total spirit and that oneness spirit and the divine spirit, that connectivity. To answer your question directly, okay, this is a walk on the wild side. This is the wild divine. Spirit told me, but we love group healing, but we want you to participate in a different style, in a different delivery of what group healing is. Because at the time that it was being brought into the earth as a frequency and a force, the desire was heart expansion. And what Spirit was showing is when you activate love times multiples, because each of us represent the spirit of our families, then what you do is amplify love. So what Spirit wants for us right now, this is so magical, is to be healed. And what better way than to ramp the power of love? And so every time, and it gets wild and crazy, and it's a hot seat, right? We've all been in the hot seat, and it's like, holy cow, this is a wild ride. But there's just such an awareness that when we're in the process of receiving, we're in the same process of recognizing ourselves. And it's just like, each and every one of us has the power to love. And like Kathleen was saying, we have the power to create. We created our life. And so if we can participate in Kaka, why can't we participate in all the goodness, right? And so I will have to tell you that it was 2018 in which I met you guys and the collective came into being. But for many years before that, here I am doing my work. I'm a solo practitioner. I do massage. I work one body at a time. And as I'm working with these beautiful people on the table, I get this other message going on about, hey, how can I expand this in a larger scale? How can I be expansive with this beauty? Because I can do this, and I already have the ripple effect because I help one-on-one, but how can we do this in a larger community, in a larger ripple, in a larger humanitarian way? And so every time that we have done a session, the thing that is most beautiful about the outcome is the shifts that we witness in the individual, knowing that they have their community and that they're stronger in their community for it. And it's like, that's collective soul, right? That's spirit. So does that answer the root question? Where did it even birth from?
I was asking how you came up with the name Spirit Collective. I didn't. And it was given to me. That's that whole magic of claircognizance, right? The clear knowing, the divine voice. You're like, I heard. That's it. It was a vibration.
Jonianne bows to the guidance. So how we came up with it, it's funny because when we selected our first name, it was taken, like that was already purchased as a website name called The Collective. So we just kept asking, and this is what I'm saying. When she talks about healing, the name Tanya D we didn't choose it. It was revealed to us. Mm-hmm. So healing is not changing anything in a person. Healing is just revealing what's already there. That's what I'm saying. We're just midwives. We're just birthing you, but birthing what you already came in with. You have a body now, but you don't know about that subtle center of divine light within you. And so Spirit asked us to call it the Spirit Collective, and Spirit said, hey, you're all raised from the same sun, and you need to be collected. So here we are doing it. And it's like, we didn't do it. We just learned to listen from within. And that's healing that we've been revealed.
Yeah.
And we're just revealing everybody else's what's already there. We're tools, if you will, okay?
And one of the things that I found it really super crazy amazing is in that journey of using technology, which you all know I'm just such a novice at, but like in the journey of trying to understand the global message, my mind is blown when you get on there. There are so many spirit collectives all birthed at the same time. You can't argue that frickin' stuff, right? It's like collective consciousness, the collective cloud, the collective, consciousness. We can participate wherever we choose to frequent, right? And I choose to frequent love, just bottom line.
Well, why wouldn't you? That's what makes the universe.
Right?
I mean, like, you can argue with the divine, you can go against them, you can fight with the divine, and we call that condensed light, okay? Because that's been my big journey. I always wanted to hang over on the light side of things. It's like, nada. Nah. This is third world, it's polarized, it's light, it's dark, and darkness is just condensed light. And that in the Spirit Collective, when we work with clients, and by the way, for our listeners today, we all have sat in the hot seat for the cleanings and the clearings. We know what it feels like. It ain't pretty. Sometimes it's beautiful. Sometimes it's magical and immediate. But we don't ask anything of our clients that we have not walked the walk and talked the talk ourselves. So we know through personal experience that we are light bodies. And as the divine speaks to us, we know that about you, but you come to the collective because you don't know that. Something in your field is blocked and locked, and through our spiritual gifts, we just look at it and say, there it is. But then we give the gift back to our clients and say, but here you go. This is your walk. What you going to do with that new information?
And we don't, what I found interesting is in the birthing of this, we don't actually speak too much about like the beauty of each of our gifts and what the magic and the mysticism and the elemental and the way that each of us uniquely participate in the light. And we don't talk about like how sometimes loved ones will come in, like from the disembodied. We don't, when you look at our work, we don't really talk too much vocally about the clairs. We don't talk about the feeling body, the shared feeling body or the shared thought body or the shared, the emotional body, the mental body. In each of our gifts, like I just found it interesting because as a collective, we're like not identifying. We're not identifying ourselves as those gifts. We're just collaborating with the gifts for a brighter, picture to reveal the person who's in front of us and the way that their gifts show up. And isn't it just magnificent when you witness somebody's truths come out? Like the dancing, the molecular dancing, the energy, the vibration, the brightness, the shift there. You can actually even see sometimes their body plumps up. And it's just, we just sit in awe of that. So,
well, because we listen to the holy divine voice and we see with our heart and we listen with our heart. And really, all we're doing is embodied beings holding witness to the divinity of the people that come to us. We call that healing, but really it's like taking the veil off. It's revelation. When they talk about revelations in the Bible, it's like people think it's a bad thing. It's like you're in trouble. You're going to be punished. It's like, well, there are mechanisms in which we have pain. And as I'm listening to Jonianne describe it, it's like, well, really, we had to learn to get out of the way and just let spirit work through us. So way back 20 minutes ago, why do we call ourselves Spirit Collective? It's apropos for the work we do. We're not doing the work. The Spirit's doing the work. All we are is tuned in. We're tuned in because every day we walk the walk and try to keep cleaning our denser bodies so our light can show. That's all we do with people. They don't know how beautiful they are, but we can see it. So it's our job to go, whoa, 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 you are not looking in the right direction. Like that pattern that you carried over when you were a little kid, you're now in your 40s, you're still using that pattern. That is so worn out. You have not been able to wear 3-year-old shoes for a long, long time, and you keep trying to cram those 40-year-old feet in 3-year-old shoes. It doesn't fit anymore. There's something better. Underneath the pain is the gift, the pearl, the wisdom, the light, the revelation. That's what we do.
So what makes the Spirit Collective different than other healers out there? What would you say?
Nothing. And something, right? Nothing, because each of us has the power to do this for ourselves. And everything, because sacred, I don't know how to express the sacred gift of being held with compassion and with
mercy.
Yeah, it can make me cry.
Yeah, mercy. Well, when the Holy Divine, when we agreed to be human, and I think this is what might make us different, but I can't really speak intuitively about all the other beautiful forces working for the greater good, but we are diverse as healers, and we pull in lots of different diversity. And I think what makes our Spirit Collective just so apropos for the time period is we honor and bow all the diverse expressions of divinity. Our spirituality is not aligned in Judaism, Christianity, Muslim, Zoroaster, the Hindu. We include all of them because with that provision of knowing, like that's one of the gifts of many of our healers, is that we can see that you cannot change truth. If you change truth, it was not the truth to begin with. That's what they mean by the eternal. So I feel and I know that the Holy Divine as a collective is the message to the planet right now with the COVID. Like, it's so interesting how Mother Earth comes in and supplies a virus that brings every institution down. And if we want to attune to what's wrong with the world, well, we're not making money and we're not polluting everything, and apparently the drug dealers aren't getting their work out there, and apparently the pollution isn't getting its work out there, but apparently the ozone is healing itself. And apparently families are understanding that, wow, I've really been missing out on the divine love and creation of my family. And guess what? I don't have to be driving to the store all the time and doing all these things. So our ability to attune, Tanya, attune into what is real and what is important. And if we can share with the world that this time period of great change was initiated by the divine, and I'm getting, as I'm speaking this, I'm like, it's coming in. Like, the reason we're a collective is even though we're all rays of light from source, there's one source. And I think it's interesting that we've been separated from each other. And what are most people complaining about? I miss you. I miss seeing my people. I miss being a part of a collective. And we're given silence to sit and listen to that subtle energy, the divine voice saying, what is it you're asking of me in this moment? Most people are saying, oh my gosh, I needed this rest. And now they're starting to think about some of their values as not being valuable because it's subtle energy, right? They didn't even know how good it was to become quiet until it was enforced on them. That's the power of the divine. And we all bow our very noisy, strong talking heads to our heart, because if we would be made intelligent in this life, but not have our intelligence and our thoughts modified by the source, which is heart energy, that's the problem that we're becoming aware of. We have to have our heart be the modifier of anything that we think. If we don't do that, we've got the problems that we've got. So, I am learning to bow to the majesty of the divine right now, because I've also been one of those strong brain people. It's like, what's in your heart? I don't know. I never looked.
Yeah, and you're speaking to like one of your gift categories and the diversity of these. Kathleen's work is in physical therapy. It's science-based. It's organized data-based. It's physical application-based, and yet in your journey, you were always like, there's something. And then over here with me as a massage therapist, which really is just a vehicle to be in communion with others. And unfortunately, I think it might be a little bit of a misunderstood vehicle based on people's experiences with massage. And it's like, it's so interesting to me to stand witness to this, like, the shifts that take place for people, when they don't like to leave the office. And it's like, what's going on? And Tanya, I know you get this too, right? They're like, I'm just soaking up the vibe, but they don't say that. But that's what they're doing, right? Because you've shifted their frequency and their vibration into source love by being source love. And it's just like, that's your beautiful gift. And people they want to commune with that. It's like, this is meeting some subtle but powerful need within me in connection. And my own personal battle with humans needing connection, right? You're like, what do you mean I can't be independent? And why do I have to have people? That was my always going on, but because my experience was that my people caused me hurt and pain. And so, like, doesn't make sense, but in the scheme of things, it's like we are in a collective. We are already connected. And there's so much influence and power over where we choose to align our senses. And that's that everybody has that ability. So to answer your question, what makes us different? Well, nothing and everything.
They just have to come and experience it, Tanya. You can, experience is not always an easy thing to describe. Because it gets to, when it comes to spiritual things, even I'm always reading spiritual philosophy. I'm going to do it until I shed this body.
That's your mental fitness?
Yeah, it's like, but to try to describe some esoteric, it's like, it's not found in word, it's not found in materiality. It's not. And you think about words having vibrational energy and they move things. I like to use sound in my healing as well. I know, Tanya, you use light. And when you think about it in the creationist story of Genesis, God said, let there be light. So if you go into the Hindu teaching, the thing that broke through the darkness is the vibrational energy. It's like everything was still. And then when stillness was broken with vibration, that is the creation. Creation means that I'm going to leave my source. And then there's going to be a lot of crying about that. If anybody's ever had a 2-year-old that did not want to be peeled off their body, your child comes from you. You create a child. It grows in your womb. There's much sacred geometry and much to be said about that. But eventually, in the development of that beautiful being, that child separates from its source, i.e. the mother. It hurts the mother, it hurts the baby, and then there's the walk. We do the same thing with the Holy Divine. It hurts to separate from whence I came. And there's a way to get back. That's what the Spirit Collective. We talk to people about how to get back to your source. How are you being created? You don't see your divinity. I do. Yes. And may divinity move through me today to say it the way that lands on you, and you get it, and you can take it and go, make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
okay, Tony.
So, in assisting people to find their divine spirit, so I guess as a collective, what different conditions or patterns do you feel like? Why would somebody reach out to the collective?
So yeah, there's actually quite a few themes and patterns, and oftentimes there's entanglement of those patterns. And like what Kathleen was saying in the birthing of the child, the child is actually birthed already into many of those patterns and development, right? Ancestral inheritance. If your ancestors were, for example, let's say, if your ancestors had a life in which survival on that primal level was paramount, and they did survive it, and they brought new life in, then that child is already born into an experience of productivity, of hard work, right? And so instantaneously, it's like we have to balance the needs between the physical world and the spiritual world of how do we get our needs met. So patterns and themes around unmet needs, we can give it, we can not break it down, but we can like kind of give a little bit of category, right? Unmet needs, sense of self, sense of love. Let's see, if we want to look at it from the lower frequency, denser emotions, you would look at shame, abuse, lacking authenticity, having to prove yourself. You've got victim rescue, victim, what do you call it? Victim and martyr. You've got rebel versus victim. You've got loss, rejection, lack of financial freedom. Oh my gosh, it's like an endless category of entanglement, right? And it just by the very nature of being born into a family, you're not to get all into the pathways of how you come into picking your family. That's a whole nother conversation, right? But there's this soup mix available to you for you to navigate yourself, and like which pieces do you want to buy into as truth, and what is really true for you, right? And then of course that's a whole nother conversation too about, well, how do you define truth? Well, I define truth by your truth. What's true for you, and what's true for your mom, and what's true for your dad, and then you throw all that together, and now you've got unmet needs.
So would you say that's your specific specialty gift within the collective? You work with the ancestral line more?
I have been guided a lot towards this, especially recently, and it's one of the, to put it into words, I think that, when I reflect on my life, that has always been one of my gifts, to be attuned to, like, gosh, you can call your mom and dad your ancestors, right? But to be attuned to their mom and dad, and attuned to their mom and dad. So yeah, ancestralization, and what does that mean? Well, we're looking at your physical makeup. What's really in your bones, what's in your physicality, and in your creational energy, and has it served your family? And maybe your family didn't get their needs met, and there's an energetic connection to you, the child, to work towards bringing that into fruition. And my experience, I come from two different strong backgrounds. I have my father, who's born in America, and he's Northern European, And then I have my mom born on the island of Guam. And so she's of a totally different spiritual presentation, more of a natural religion. So you mix those two together, and it's just like the gifts that each have had to develop, like you were saying, Kathleen, to survive, the gifts that they have had to instinctually participate in order to thrive. And those gifts have like honed down into me, and for the service and the purpose of helping them have a beautiful life. Did I answer it right? I mean, not right, but did I answer it? Yeah.
So
what it means?
When I was listening to Jonianne, so I'm the summarizer. Like, I love to listen, and then I'm like, okay, the way it lands on me. So I think that the kind of people that we attract to this for what kind of work, really all healing and all revelation is about changing our relationship to something. So people come in and they know, like, their soul is seeking something else other than what they have, as Jonianne so eloquently shared, through our family lineage, through our epigenetics. We know now that the story of our family actually comes in on our genetics. Who would have thought? I mean, you can have heart disease forever, and in my family there's lots of mental illness. Well, I was bound and determined to reach back ancestrally to see where it began. So when someone comes in, see, people are much more gifted than they really know, and they don't like the way they're relating. A lot of times we keep relating to a story, and we're not our story. Like, we're not limited by that. So we, first of all, want to validate the story, because the story, what you know makes you feel safe. When a human being feels safe, and then someone brings in the magic, mystical side of it, they go, this, but because your mind is paying attention to this is quantum physics, your mind's not paying attention to this. Meanwhile, all this good swirling around here, but you're so stuck in your story of, I'm from here and this happened to me. And really, it's lots and lots of reference to the past. And so the collective just comes in and goes, got it. I understand that. And in fact, I feel it. I had that pattern too. But that's still not who you are. That's that dense body again. The story, my physicality, the way I look. I'm white, I'm black, I'm female, I'm male. I grew up in America. I have nothing to do with this person over here. And giving up judgment allows the divine, the spirit collective, to come in. And I do mean collective, because we are all one, to come in and inform us. But if you don't have the tools, if you don't have the practice, how do you get there? When you come to Spirit Collective, it is our intention to give you something you didn't have when you walked in. What you do with that gift, that's on you. If you want to come back and get more work, if you want to branch off with one of the practitioners and get individualized care, that can happen too. But we just bust out. You come in, you have this thing, we tell you, things do change. My prayer always for you is, may you perceive the change, start using it. And the person, like, their path changes. They were going this way, now they turn left. Or I guess that's right to you, but or whatever. Like, let's not get too one way. We don't want you to be one way. You're so much more than one thing. So people come in to change their relationship with, and then fill in the blank. That's all.
And it's funny, there's this little aspect of the Spirit Collective that you just aligned with, and that was each practitioner they're each their own very unique and beautiful practitioner, and everybody has their own love frequency, their own love vibe. And so if that person allows themselves to receive, though, from the unified love, and then they notice that they are able to relate, like you were talking about, to one of the practitioners, that's the beauty of this form, is that you have access to a collective, And you have access to, if you want to take it in a level of depth in the safety and security with somebody that you resonated here in the collective, please, by all means, reach out and communicate with them directly. Like Tanya's gifts, oh my gosh, the ability for her to assist you through the etheric, that is so freaking unique and powerful. And then your understanding of numerology, your understanding of the meridian work, the subtle bodies, all of the psychic surgery, the holding of one's sacred self as you become the observer for them in terms of contributors to their current life path, your abilities to do that, you can't find this regularly, right? And then with Kathleen's divinity, her connection, her direct source connection to God, and the clarity and the truth. And you've never said this, Kathleen, but my instinct tells me that you work directly with Archangel Michael, right? And then
I could use that.
The list goes on in terms of every one of the Ophir's work. Oh my gosh, Ophir's work in his ability to navigate and observe forces and fields, right? Which I want to just say briefly, like we the regular people, we one of the ways that we could really understand forces and fields is the fact that we're on this Zoom call right now, right? And we're communicating to each other across the country, but we're liking each other. We're having coffee with you right now. And it's like, how delicious is that connection, that I can actually feel the love that you have for this precious life that you lead. I can feel that coming off of you guys through this device, and it's like, then you go out and you might, watch a little TV when you're relaxing. And it's like, you look at the beauty of a TV. They've taken sound, light, and people previously recorded, right? And then they download it through these lines, and it shows up in your living room like life size. And it's like, I don't know, call me crazy, but like I find that technology so fascinating. And we're just like, I don't feel like watching TV today. It's like so casual. And we've become so accustomed to these different energies that we don't even register them. So that's the only difference, right, between what we do with subtle energy is we're accustomed to those and we register those, and we live our lives accepting them and using them in a natural way because it's the way it's always been. So that's the gift, that is to show you that you do the same thing. And so how do you want to pull those different energies and fields and forces for your highest good? How do you want to do that?
There, another spiritual principle came in really about why we call ourselves Spirit Collective, is Jonianne's talking about the diversity of the gifts, and that we're given the opportunity to bow to each other, to see the divinity in them that may not be my gift. And that it makes us more collective to see that it takes diversity. Like the thing I just love to laugh about, it's like you cannot limit God. And people are always trying to do that. It's like, come on. Omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. Oh, but you can only study it this way, and it has to be this story. Here's the relationship thing. And I've got the truth and you don't. And it's like, that is just hilarious to me. I go, do you know how many people have told me they had the truth and you didn't? Apparently, that's not the truth.
That is seriously so true. It's all based on experience, memory, and perception and beyond, right?
Yeah.
The experience. Sometimes the experience that we're experiencing is an experience from a whole nother dimension that's already existed and happened, but we still have the memory of it comes up and floods through our beingness.
So that's why it's the collective, because we want you to know you belong, even if you don't agree with me and I don't agree with you, because agreement, that's a whole nother subject. And disagreement, that's part of the polarity. Like, let's embrace, right? Let's just embrace. This is what it is, folks. Woohoo!
Woohoo! So, ladies, is there anything else you'd like to share about the Spirit Collective to my audience?
Come and see it.
Come try it. Just experience it for yourself. That's the only way we can.
And
it's such a beautiful thing.
We also do, we occasionally do meditations that people can come and check out, like if they're fearful or they're questioning or doubting. And I like that. Use that third chakra. Question everything I say. Don't take my word for it. Try it on. Those 3-year-old shoes, are they supposed to be fitting right now? Try them on. And there's very little, you aren't going to be injured in any way, because we always boundarize our issues from yours, because we're supposed to have issues if we're human, right? That's the gift I'm learning, the gift of our issues. Our guideposts to keep us walking. Yeah. So if people want to check out one of our free meditations,
I think it's next Saturday.
Next Saturday there is one.
Yeah, on the 23rd, around 4:30.
And how can they find us, Jonianne? How are they best able to see us on Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would have to say probably the best route. I don't know. We're running around with different forms of communication. For this, we issued invitation to friends and family. And if you want to be a part of that friends and family, then my suggestion is to go ahead and give us an email, because I'd like to keep your link for you, because we, in today's times, right, I just would like to honor you in your choices, and if you're interested, and go ahead and email to spiritcollectivehealers.com.
And that's that's another way that you can be connected during this time where we're being, quarantined from each other. Just like Jonianne said, you can connect via Zoom and feel something very potent. Try it. Just try it. Don't sit at home and say, I got nothing to do. There's no one to see. I got no one to talk to. Naughty. No, not happening. Come on in and have some fun.
But yeah, we do occasional posts through Spirit Collective, Instagram, and then you can find us on Facebook. But our website, I think, is the best portal point to get to know us better. Yeah.
Spirit-collective.com.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tanya.
Oh,
thank you, ladies, for jumping on last minute for Meet Me for Coffee. I will have the information in the show notes about the Spirit Collective, and you can find these two lovely ladies there, myself, and more. Ashe.
Love you dearly.